like, you don't have to cuss, you don't have to do anything, to reach anybody, whether it be the church or whether it be outside, in the street or whatever. But it's basically, as a few people have put it, the steps on people's toes, it hits right where home is or whatever. And I realized, how hard it is to tell the truth, because if it wasn't hard to tell the truth, then people wouldn't lie, right? That's right. But, sometimes I've seen how some of the disciples and the church and everything, how they got killed for, preaching the gospel, just speaking the truth, and how you can get scrutinized and even kicked out of organizations, groups, or what have you, just for speaking the truth. So I realized, it is a hard thing to speak the truth at times, even for myself. So I just go ahead, I don't call myself brave as being fearless, but just going ahead and having the mind and the spine to just, say what God wants me to say. So we're going to go ahead further on. This first piece I'm going to do is just basically sums up all the reasons why I write. I might miss out on one or two things, but, we're going to get it together. And this is simply titled, This Is Why I Write. I just love to write. I just love to write. I love to write during the day and during the night. Now, I write because my mind wants to speak, and when I speak, I have lived the week. I am now able to take criticism on the cheek and keep on going. No matter what you say, I'm going to keep on flowing. The way I write is also how I fight. Now, when I fight for that child that's in his mother's womb, but both of his parents have already planned his doom, getting the blood money together to pay for his tomb. Now, I fight for the children that cry. I fight for the children that don't choose how they die. I write to tell you what young ladies are crying about. I write to tell you what fake pastors and church people are lying about. Now, I write for the underachievers, the non-believers. I write to undo the work of the world's deceivers. And yes, I'm a black man, and I do own a black face, but I'm still a human rights activist. Now, if you won't believe in civil rights for all, then you'll fall. Civil rights are for blacks and whites, the Chinese and Japanese. I write for people that are dying because of the disease. I feel it's my duty to speak up for that man in Japan that's getting mistreated in his own land. I write for women that are mistreated. I write for fathers that feel defeated. I write for the unborn who have been deleted. I speak up and say what I got to say out loud in any crowd. Not too much caring about dollars and cents and big contract endorsements. Now, I write because you won't. I write for those that can't because you don't. I write for what's right. I write to encourage blacks and whites not to fight, but you won't speak what you write because you're scared to get spit on. You're scared to get hit on. Man, you're scared for people to tell you to get on. Now, me personally, I don't care if I ever make it on TVN because I'm still going to speak against sin. By the Holy Spirit, I've been fooled. I've been trained for many years to take the world's ridicule. No longer play the fool. No longer Satan's tool. No longer will I settle for less. I will greater. And man, I just love a hater. I have the ability to speak the truth without asking for your tithe later. Now, I write for the child that can't write. I write for the child that can't read. I write for those who unwillingly bleed. Now, I write because God told me so. That's right, God told me so. I write because God told you to write and you said no. I write for cancer survivors and victims of drunk drivers. I write for family members who are on drugs and need God's hug. I write for the needy. I write to speak out against the greedy. I write to change the hearts of killers and drug dealers because the truth of the matter is that Jesus loves them too. I write for all people who are unfairly detested. I pick up my pen to speak up for the molested. I pick up my pen for the man and woman that is doing all that they can. I pick up my pen to speak out against sin. Now, I write because the state of mind that the church is in right now, it ain't right. Church people don't read their Bible and they still don't believe God, so they can't fight. It makes Jesus want to cry and bring out his tissues because the majority of the people, man, they ain't tackling the real issues. Now, I write because I know it's my calling. God was giving me formula writing while I was falling. I write for people who don't have shoes to put on their feet. I write for people that are starving and won't get anything to eat. I write for all rape victims and anyone stuck in the penal system. I write to inform. I write to reform. I write to help people get past their norms. Now, ain't y'all tired of being lukewarm? Now, this is why I write, but the sad fact is some of y'all still ain't going to fight, but that's all right. Thank you. I read something before, and it just basically told you, the things that you just, you can't tolerate, that you just hate, and, those things that God has called you to fight against. And some of the things I fight against is what I write about. And another one, it has to do with, drinking and driving or whatever. Now, I've been hit by drunk driving myself before, but, here I am still alive. But there's a lot of people out there that have been hit by, I've heard of families getting killed by a drunk driver. And this is by somebody who's drunk one drink, somebody that thought they can hold their liquor or whatever. And, that's usually the excuse that they, only had one drink or two drink or whatever. But I wanted to, I use my poetry as for correction and conviction, never to condemn anybody or whatever. So, the title of this poem is called I Only Had a Couple of Drinks. Drinking and driving last night, man, it was a bad decision. And boy, y'all can tell by the collision. Because the car had skidded far along the asphalt and tar. Now, that poor little Honda Accord, man, it was no match for that big old Ford. Now, 7 vehicles and all were involved in the pile-up. Like cleaning up the wreckage, it would take a long time, like getting that pile up. Now, what was this person thinking as she was driving and drinking? She thought she had complete control, and then, bam!